Good afternoon. Welcome. It's great to be back together again, right? Absolutely. This is my third conference, and where has the time gone? I am here to do a State of the Association, and what I thought I would do is talk about the journey we're on together, because that's really what I'm here doing for you, and what we're here as staff doing for you, and more importantly, what we are doing together, because as Mark mentioned, we're co-creating. So I thought I'd take us back and then bring us forward. 3 years ago, my first conference, my message to you was opportunity. And there was so much opportunity at CMAA that as I looked around. It was also a message of, together we can make things happen. And I think over the past 2 years we have. So that was year one. Year two was last year. And just as many of you, when you come into a club, there is a process of looking at the internals of the organization and saying, what can we change? What can we make better? How can we operate differently? So we went through that. And also together, we went through a visioning process. And we created a new strategic plan. And I thought it was a pretty successful year financially too. We'll get to the finances. But what we did as an organization was we cut back to our core. There were some things we were doing, insurance related and others, that really weren't part of the fabric of the organization. And they were also drags on the potential that we had as an organization. So we went back to our core. And again, together, about 30% of the members helped us create that new strategic plan. So now, as I stand before you today, and that strategic plan is built upon our challenges. And those were the challenges that you told us through a member survey. So now as we come together today, where are we with all this? We're now a year later. So now we have a strategic plan, and now it's the process of implementing that strategic plan. So let's look back over 2016 and see how we did together, because it is about us. It's not about me, it's not about the staff, it's about all of us as a community coming together. So first of all, one of our initiatives in our strategic plan was to focus on the Club Foundation and bring the Club Foundation and CMAA together in a way that can propel us even further to serving all of you. And in quarter one, we went through a governance restructuring. In quarter two, we went through a financial reorganization. In quarter three, we have a new logo, we have some new staff, and the energy is building with the Club Foundation. You can see 26 scholarships in 2016, $269,000 plus given out by the foundation. More importantly, about 30% of you contributed to the foundation. My question to you is, what's the matter with the other 70% of you? Look around and look at your name badges. Do you have a sticker on it that says, I support the foundation? If you don't, I hope next year you will. And we're going to talk more about next year, but I can tell you the foundation now will go through a strategic planning process itself. And we are shedding much more light on the foundation in our finances and et cetera. And you are going to want to contribute to the foundation because it is part of your fabric. It is part of how we help each other as a community. So that was number one in 2016. Number two, we launched a new department, and that was a research department. We hired some staff. We added a new member research committee. And if you read my blogs, I talked, and that correct comment was in my last blog, but I talked about how all of this has been led by committees. A new committee, member research, helped us to get our focus, and we have internal research that we do ourselves, industry research that we do with universities, and then external research that we use with partners. How many of you remember Jason Dorsey from last year that talked about the generational aspects that we have to deal with as a society? Well, we took that and through funding from both the foundation and CMAA, we really studied what do those generational differences, how do they look at clubs. And we used Jason Dorsey's firm, and I think we came out with some pretty good insight from a generational standpoint. And if you haven't looked at this, I urge you to. It's on our website, it's open to the public under cmaa.org/millennials. So that was something that we started to do as our research. I'm going to talk more about research in a minute. Professional development. Wow. One of the things we launched was a new governance and leadership summit. It is to bring managers and board members together to talk about good governance. We also go through trends. We also go through a process of how do you communicate better between manager and board. It also helps boards see the value of CMAA. We had 207 attendees over last year in our governance and leadership summits. You can see here as well that our BMIs are going strong. And in fact, our global BMIs in number are higher than our US BMIs. And that's because of all the partners that we have, pretty much touching every continent but Antarctica. And I'm not sure we'll ever get to Antarctica. But I applaud all of you from the international community working with us as allies to put on BMIs. And what it is the CCM brand is a global brand, and that's good for all of us as a community. You can see the amount of courses, course credits, and we had a great year in professional development. We also had a great year in events. We made some changes in our events. The Mid-Management Conference, we brought back into national running and partnering with the chapters, because we felt that we were leaning too heavily on some of our larger chapters to run the Mid-Management Conference. And quite frankly, it was a financial burden as well as a staffing burden that we wanted to bring back into our national organization. It also sets us up to ensure that the program has continuity. So we all know that there's 10 key competencies in club management. And through the mid-management program, we're focusing on a couple of those each year. So this is not a one-and-done program. It's a program that you can go to as mid-managers year after year for several years. I think it shows value. I think it helps you as mid-managers and executive staff grow. We also did a BMI International, and my thanks to CMAE for hosting us. And CMAE made some money off of it, so it was a very profitable program. They're great partners. We also launched our app at conference last year. And what you're probably seeing is some changes to that app to make it easier for you to get your credits. And in fact, now if you enter your credits on the app, they will immediately post, so you can go on to the website and see that they posted. And we've expanded the app use into our other programs. And I'll talk more in a second of other things that we have planned for the app. Advocacy. We launched a new advocacy website with some new software. And if you haven't seen it, go to clubindustryvotes.org, off our website as well. We tracked 975 bills. We put out 5 action alerts. We had members reach out to 58 congressional offices. It is a grassroots effort. We also worked with a lot of allied partners from an advocacy standpoint. And the beauty of that we bring to the table is all of you. If your voice is loud and is heard, and you're willing to put your voice out there, we can make change. So thank you for all of you that have. And if you haven't looked at this, I urge you to look at it. It is something that many of you have active advocacy in your states. This is a companion piece. Financial results. We always want to know the financials. So, last year, when I was up here, it was a little bit over $400,000 in net profit or net excess. This year, it's close to $500,000. That is continuing to grow, even though we are pouring money into growing our member value proposition. On the CF side, we lost $5,000, but on a cash basis, we actually improved. So we are on a good path. Let's dig into the finances just a little bit more, and let's look over the past 5 years. And we have been, as you have heard me say, we've had some challenges dating back to the recession and before, where we've been in the red for many years. That tide has turned, but we are making up for that now. And we have a lot of needs, not only for all of you as members, but internally we have our needs. So as we're generating some cash in our excess, that will help service some of those, and I'll mention those in a minute. But I think you should be pleased with those. I also want to say that the audit is on the website, as well as an annual report. So feel free to look at it all you want. The audit now is a consolidated audit with our foundation, so you would get all the facts and information on the entire organization. So that gets us up to speed on the past year. Now let's talk a little bit about 2017 and go forward. It is our 90th year. That's pretty awesome, right? We are an organization that was built on professional development, community, networking, helping each other, and 90 years later, we are still that. Those are still our core principles. So let's talk about some of the things we have planned for you in 2017. First of all, I'm very pleased that Club Management Magazine is going from 4 to 6 issues, and we're doubling in size from 24 pages to 48 pages. Thank you to the Communications Committee to help make that happen. We want to improve the value. It is our member mouthpiece, and I think you'll be pleased as that new magazine is launched with a new publisher behind it. In addition, our Club Resource Center, which over the past many years we've had PCS and we've had Club Solutions, and what we have done over the past 2 years is streamline. You pay membership dues, we serve your professional needs, but there are needs from a club standpoint. So we have created and evolved all those existing products into the Club Resource Center. That Club Resource Center is a one subscription price of around $1,000 that offers a huge bunch of resources. New staff education. We've just updated our club operations and performance review. We have white papers in there that are going to be added that go on top of some of the generational research, and a club analytics portal. And I'll talk more about that because that is pretty important. Over the past several years, we as clubs have realized the importance of data and information. And there's a host now, there's 2 in particular that I can think of that offer analytics portal. Both do a great job. But it's my belief and the belief of the board that we don't want to serve just the needs of those that can afford a high subscription fee. We want to serve everybody. So the CMAA board has committed about $100,000+ in resources to the Club Resource Center. Part of that goes to developing our own member-owned club analytics service. So you will feed your data into that. Those members that feed their data into that will get a static report. Those that want to subscribe to the Club Resource Center will have an interactive portal that you can go in and do comparisons based upon club size and club type and geography and other things. I think for $1,000 to get that and education for your staff is a pretty good value. I also believe that it will lower the ability for all clubs to get that information, not just the more wealthy clubs. And I think the more we do this, and because it is member-owned, it will allow us to get better data at a base level. We're using a company called Industry Insights. And I think this is very important. We don't live in a bubble. We may think we live in a bubble, but we don't. Well, Industry Insights is the organization we're hiring to white label this. They work with about 200 association of clients. You can see some down below. And they also have the expertise of CPAs on staff, researchers on staff, and working with lots of different industries in the hospitality range and outside the hospitality range. Some of those we recognize up there, GCSAA, NGCOA, and others. So they're going to be able to bring that expertise to us as well. And in my discussions with some of our peer organizations, as we continue to use the same portal, we'll be able to take data and marry it together and come out with what I think is some pretty special research over the coming years. So you've started to hear about that. You're going to hear more about that. If you want to ask questions about that, we have a session on Friday, and I'll hit that at the end. But this is a pretty important initiative this coming year. Some other things that we are focused on are replacing our decades-old association management software, and that is going to cost us about $500,000. As well, one of the things that's in our strategic plan is chapter national alignment. And you might say, what does that mean? And I think there's lots of questions about that, and I'm meeting with the managing directors of your chapters later to talk about that. But I think right now as an organization, we have a national that is independent, and all these chapters that are independent, and we're all working to serve you. Well, how do we move all that independence into interdependence, where we are connected and serving you in some sort of tandem relationship? So we're going to start a process to talk about that. I mentioned the app. The app will move into BMI programs. Our goal is to get rid of those cards entirely over the coming years and ultimately bring that down to the chapter level too. So as we go about our next year and celebrate that 90 years, I think we're in pretty good shape. I'm pretty excited. One of the things that all of this energy behind us has done is it not only has grown our profits, but it has grown our membership. I'm pleased to tell you that our membership has gone from 6,500 to 6,700. And I'm also pleased to say, and I want to give a shout out to the Florida chapter, for recruiting 100 new members. I don't think we've ever had a chapter recruit 100 new members, so awesome job. So as I end, if you want more, my 15 minutes are up. Friday at 3:45, Ask CMA Leadership. It is an open forum. We are there to answer your questions. It'll be Jill, Bob, and I. And online is the annual report, which is pictured there, as well as our audit. Read it, ask questions, and happy birthday, CMA. Thank you all.